Hey guys, welcome back to the X-Ring. On today's episode, what I want to do is review the Accuracy International AX in 6.5 Creedmoor. Had a lot of requests to do this, so I pulled everything out and I'll show you my setup and what all it involves. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so first off, let's start off with the case here. This is an Accuracy International case for the unit. I do have some complaints with it. When you try to latch some of these latches, if you're used to a Pelican or something like that, they can be a little difficult to line up. It is a very expensive case. I think this case runs somewhere around $700 or so, but it is form-fitted for everything that you could possibly need in here. I'm going to have to do a lot of hand panning, and you just have to bear with me on that. Alright guys, so this is the case when you open it up, and what you'll see is everything that I've got in here. It is nice, form-fitted. You've got the owner's manual and everything, and then down in this area what I'll do is I'll start reviewing some of the things that I keep in the case here. Okay, so starting on the left, of course, you've got your magazines here, and I've got a couple different magazines in there. Some are flat dark earth and some are sand based on availability. They are all metal construction. There's no way to take it apart because you'll see that that's folded metal, and you've got a follower here, and this would have to go down and you rotate it to get these out to clean them or anything like that. Very, very reliable magazines. What I keep here is, this is my data chart, and the way this works, this is made by Armageddon Gear. You undo the Velcro, and when you have range cards set up, what you can do is put this on your wrist or on your forearm, and then you have these cards like this, and then that would go like that, or you could put two of them here. And so if I had, let's say, you know, a 525-yard shot, and let's say my dope is, I'm just going to make up a number here, I'll say it's 5.2 mils. Well, the good thing about this, with the pins that they provide, you are not going to erase this, okay? This will only come off with an alcohol pad, or they give you these alcohol pins, and so if you needed to erase it, you can, like this, and this will put alcohol on it, then you can erase it. But it's really nice because that way you don't have to worry about these smearing or anything like that. Even if it rains, you're not going to lose your data. So I keep those in there, and those are made by Armageddon Gear. Armageddon Gear makes some really good equipment, some really good bags and whatnot. In this pouch right here, I usually keep my accessory rails, you know, thread protector, things like that, along with the Allen screws or the Allen keys for whatever I need. This was the factory bottom rail. That's not on there anymore because I've got it replaced with something else. And then, of course, this is your adjustment for your scope. This is a Night Force tool, and it's got the different Allen keys here for zeroing out your turrets and whatnot. And, of course, a lens wipe. Up here in the front side, what I keep is a rangefinder. This is made by Leica. It is the Rangemaster 2700B. You do have drop data in here once you put it in, but it doesn't work that well. I use a Kestrel, but this is really, really good for getting targets way out there. I mean, it'll pick up the smallest targets at long distance. Keep my sunshade here, and then on this side, these are the spacers for the butt pad for length of pull. So I just keep those in there, and I always keep 80 rounds in the box. What I shoot is the Hornady 6.5 Creedmoor, the ELD match. I use the 147 grain. It shoots the 140s just as well, but the 147, the extra 7 grains, gives a little better performance out far. Guys, this is my dope book, or the Bible if you want to call it that, for the rifle itself. Inside of here I keep extra cards because I run multiples of these, and sometimes I don't have time to try to wipe one clean, and so I just have a lot of extra cards. Usually keep one of the permanent markers in here for the card, and then I usually keep a Right in the Rain for my data book here, and then the data book will have all my dope and everything else in it. That's what I keep in the range book itself. Alright, so what I'm going to do is pan over to the right a little bit, and then we'll talk about a few more things. Let me move this over. Sorry, bear with me, guys. Alright, so moving over to the right, what we're going to see is some more stuff in here. Of course, I'm going to keep a knife in here. I always have a knife, no matter what. It's just handy if I'm cutting stuff or anything like that. This is a Microtech stitch. And then on this side right here, this is where I'm going to keep the Kestrel. Okay, the Kestrel is going to have, you know, all of my data in there for the rifle itself. Doing environmentals just makes it really nice. Now on the rifle itself, I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And we'll pan to it in just a second. All right, guys, so I am going to have to hold this, but on the end I have replaced the muzzle brake with the attachment for the Thunderbeast Arms suppressor for the Ultra 7. You can see the barrel designation and the caliber for the 6.5 Creedmoor. Coming on down, you're going to see that the rail here is all a key mod. I do have this with a Picatinny and the flush cup for attaching a sling for a sling swivel. The bipods I use are Atlas bipods. This is a BT46. And the BT46, you know, a lot of guys ask me, they say, well, what's the difference between the BT46 and the BT10? Well, the BT10 here, you can rotate these. So I don't know if you can see that, guys. You see how it's rotating along the table? That will not do that on the 46. BT10 has its place, but not on this rifle. I don't like that. If I'm pressing into it, or if I've got a crazy angle here where I'm shooting something like this, like off cant, I don't want that leg rotating on me. And that is a position I've shot from before, not by choice. Coming on back beyond the key mod here, what you're going to see is this has been replaced, the hand stop. This is by a company called Really Right Stuff. Now, it should be really expensive stuff because this stuff is not cheap. But this is an Arca Swiss rail, and if you have one of their bipods, or if you have a tripod rather, or a tripod that will attach to an Arca Swiss rail, you can clamp it directly to this through this little dovetail. I have the barricade stop here, so if I'm up against a stairwell or something like that, this won't slide up and down, so you can put a lot of force into it. You're also going to notice on the left side here, so if you're a right-handed shooter and you need to do a mag change, you don't have to lift the rifle up. All you've got to do is release the magazine comes out a little and then rotates out of the side. So very smart, because you don't have to break your cheek weld on that with that left side relief cut. Up here, you're going to see the release for the bolt mechanism itself. The trigger is a two-stage. I'll cover that in just a minute. You've got some flush cups here for a sling attachment. You also have another one back here underneath your cheek riser. On the cheek riser, you can adjust all of this, guys. I mean, you can turn these screws. I'm not going to turn them for you because they're adjusted for me perfectly. You can use this thumb wheel here, and you can rotate the buttstock. You can go up and down with it. Mine's actually rotated at a slight angle, but it fits me perfectly. And this, I have a lot of people ask me about this here. This is by a company called Wiebad, W-I-E-B-A-D. They make a lot of bags and whatnot, but this is a custom one that you can order from them, and they'll even custom embroider certain things on it. The spur mount here, if you guys look at that, very, very good quality construction. It has a built-in level. These are quite pricey. I think this is about $400 and something. They do have Picatinny rails, because I did want to attach this long-range arms. I'll show you more on that later, but this is how you turn that on and off. Okay, it does work in vertical or horizontal position. And then I also have a place to affix my data card. I do not remember the name of this company, but it uses a hinge mechanism, attaches to the top Picatinny, and so when I'm behind the rifle, I can adjust this in multiple ways on how I need it. I've got it all topped off with a Night Force ATAC R. It is the 7-35 front focal, 56mm objective, and I'm running a Trimmer 3 reticle on that. All right, guys, so moving on to the suppressor. This is a Thunderbeast Ultra 7 made by Thunderbeast Arms. Guys, if you're going to run a precision suppressor for a bolt gun, this is a direct thread pretty much. Basically, let me move this over. Basically, you just place it on, it auto-locates center, and it is on solid. Now, if you're going to run a suppressor on a precision bolt gun, you want to make sure that you get a mirage cover. The mirage cover I run is a high temp Armageddon gear. You can use the lower temp. It is titanium, so you don't want to exceed 800 degrees. But basically, this will help with mirage when you start to get a lot of heat signature, or when you start to get a lot of heat in the suppressor, you're going to see mirage coming off of this, and sometimes you won't even be able to see your target. So you'll definitely want to get a mirage cover for that. All right, guys, so from this view, this would be the shooter's point of view. You can see, you don't even have to focus. You can see the red light there, so I can tell that I'm out of level. As I start rotating to the right, this would be too much to the right. We're gonna have solid blue and then back to red. But when I get it level, what's gonna happen is, and you can get this accurate within 0.2 of a degree, I know that I'm level there and I can go ahead and take the shot. This works on extreme angles as well. It doesn't matter if you mount it vertically or horizontally. You know, the spur mount itself, and I'll show you this, guys, I'm gonna have to move the camera, but the spur mount itself actually has a level in it, and I've verified it, and that level is not as accurate as the long range arms. It's close. You can see green there, and you can see that on the spur mount it actually favors the right hand side when everything's level and green. Okay, and then you've got your range card here, and then you've got your shooter's point of view inside of here, of course, if I could get the reticle, but I'm not even going to attempt that. So that's that. Now the action itself, extremely smooth. I mean, it's literally like butter. It almost slides, it almost slides by itself. It's on a slight angle. But to remove this is a takedown stock. So what you're going to do is you would press that button there, and then you can fold it to the side. All right, guys, so continuing with this, with hinging the stock, you just press that button in, you rotate, and it's very, very robust. It's not the easiest thing to rotate. I mean, it doesn't just freely move on its own, and then you just press that on the side, and there's the bolt. You can see the design of it. It's basically a 3-lug design, but it's doubled up, and like I said, it is butter smooth in there. Let me let you look at the bottom of that. So here's the bottom of the bolt itself. Always use grease on my bolt guns. And that's it. The trigger is adjustable. There is an adjustment on the bottom with an Allen screw. You can take that and just rotate it in, but I like where it's at when it came from the factory. It is a 2-stage trigger, so if you're not used to a 2-stage trigger, let me zoom in just a little. So if you're not used to a 2-stage trigger, you basically place your finger on the trigger, you're gonna hit the wall, okay? So that wall is always there. I'm on the wall right now, and then at that point, this is about 1.5 pounds or so, just a nice crisp trigger. All right, guys, so that's just a quick down and dirty review of the Accuracy International AX. This one's in 6.5 Creedmoor. It is very easy to change the barrel out. The only thing you have to do is remove this screw. I had it in my kit there, but basically you're going to retighten it, I think 42 foot-pounds. But you remove this, barrel comes out, and you can throw another barrel in there if you had one in 308 or something like that. Price point for this setup, I'm not even going there. I don't like to get into price points, but it is not an inexpensive venture. Accuracy Internationals are expensive for a reason. They are extremely accurate, very repeatable, very durable, great setup, but like I said, some guys want me to review it, so I did it. You guys have a good evening. We'll talk to you soon.